Hello and welcome back to Big Brother. This is the Season 8 simulator. And we have a cast of 14 brand new players. And I'm not going to go person by person this time. So who we have is Annalise, Talavera, Ava Max, Brittany Taylor, Cliff Hogg, Danielle Briones, JC Kalen, Jackie Ibarra, Justina Valentine, who will be playing as America's player. So she'll be given a bunch of tasks this season that she has to complete. These tasks could also go towards, getting other players kicked off, not getting these players nominated, so on and so forth. Catherine Dunn, Kian Lawley, Matt Ladley, Nelson Thomas, Steve Arianta, and Tyrone Magnus. So let's just begin. Alright, Justina is America's player. You will be choosing tasks each week. She wins $10,000 for every 5 tasks she completes. 3 house guests enter the house. They are Annalise, Danielle, Tyrone. Each one of them is a nemesis of another house guest, being Kian, JC, and Ava. Woof! This is really looking like Vendetta's. Mushroom Madness is the first HOH competition. The house guests are paired up. One sits atop a large spinning mushroom, while the other answers questions about their fellow house guests' applications. Each incorrect answer causes the mushroom to spin faster. If a house guest falls off the mushroom, they and their partner are eliminated. The last house guest remaining on their mushroom wins the competition for them and their partner. Either Brittany or Kian will win the HOH. And Annalise, Danielle, Tyrone will decide who wins, and Kian is chosen to win the head of household. So Kian wins the first head of household, and Kian begins nominations. JC, Matt, Annalise, Kat, Danielle, Steve, Jackie, Cliff, Tyrone, Nelson, and Ava are all safe. So that means Kian nominated Justina and Brittany. America wanted Justina to get JC nominated. Justina's mission was a failure. So at the veto, Kian, Justina, and Brittany are playing, and Nelson, Steve, and Matt are chosen to play. Hide and seek. The house guests take turns hiding a veto symbol inside of the house. If it is found, they are eliminated. The last house guest remaining wins the golden power of veto. Nelson wins the power of veto. Justina and Brittany state why they should be safe. Nelson uses the power of veto on Brittany. Kian names Ava as a replacement, and Justina and Ava are the final nominees. Justina and Ava face eviction, and by a vote of 8-3, Ava, you have been eliminated. You have been evicted from the Big Brother house. And all of the kings had their queens on the throne. You would be thrown off it immediately. Alright, start early and get the pop star right out of this game. Ava Max is now gone with only 13 players left. Alright, HOH competition is majority rules. The house guests stand in their individual booths in the backyard. Julie Chen will ask a question, and they must each answer the question the way they think the rest of the house will respond. If they answer with the majority, they advance to the next round. If they answer with the minority, they are eliminated. The last house guest remaining becomes a new head of household. Cliff is the next head of household. Cliff begins the nomination ceremony. Matt, Kian, and Kat are safe. Justina is safe. Annalise is safe. Danielle is safe. Steve is safe. Brittany is safe. Jackie is safe. Nelson is safe, meaning Cliff had nominated JC and Tyrone. America wanted Justina to get JC nominated. Justina's mission was successful. Cliff, JC, Tyrone will compete. Danielle, Steve, and Annalise are selected to compete. Cutthroat Christmas. The house guests enter the backyard to see a Christmas tree beside a large curling lane. Each round, the house guests will slide a puck down the lane, attempting to have it land in the center. The house guest that is the furthest from the center each round will be eliminated. They are then able to take a prize, which may or may not be stolen by another house guest that has been eliminated after them. The house guest that holds the golden power veto in the end wins it. And Steve wins the power of veto. JC and Tyrone state why they should be saved, and Steve chooses not to use it, meaning Tyrone and JC are the final nominees. JC and Tyrone face eviction, and by a vote of 6-4, Tyrone, you are evicted from the Big Brother house. Tyrone is gone. America wanted Justina to get JC out. Justina's mission was a failure. Now Tyrone is the next player out. So now we have 12 players left. Tyrone, I felt like, would have been a force to be reckoned with in this game later on, since he is in shape, super tough. So you know what? Maybe it was the right move, maybe it was the wrong one. We'll see later on. Next HOH competition is called Getting Schooled. The house guests stand in their individual booths. Each round, Julie Chen will ask them a question based on a certain school subject. An incorrect answer results in elimination. The last remaining player becomes the new head of household. Justina wins HOH. Justina now begins the ceremony. Brittany, Jackie, Danielle, Cliff, Annalise, Kat, Nelson, Kian, and Steve are safe. Justina has now nominated JC and Matt. America controlled Justina's nominations. Justina's mission was a success. Justina, JC, and Matt will compete, as well as Kian, Annalise, and Kat. Getting Schooled. The house guests stand in their individual booths. Each round, Julie Chen will ask them a question based on a certain school subject. An incorrect answer results in elimination. The last remaining player becomes the new head of household. Matt wins. Power veto. Wait a minute. Something that's they messed up here. Okay, becomes the new wins the golden power veto. Is what it should say. And Matt wins the power veto. JC and Matt stay why they should be saved. Matt uses the power on himself, and Justina names Jackie as a replacement, meaning that the final nominees are JC and Jackie. America controlled Justina's veto decision. Justina's mission was a success. And JC and Jackie face eviction. Jackie is evicted, and by a vote of 6-3, Jackie, you are evicted from the Big Brother house. And America wanted Justina to get JC out. Justina's mission was a failure. Jackie, the Amazing Race and Big Brother player, is now out of the game. That is unfortunate. Besides that, they really did mess up there. But Matt won the power veto. He uses it on himself. Great move. And now we go in and we see what's next. There's 11 players left. The Eliminator. Each round, the house guests are asked a question. The first house guest to answer correctly is allowed to eliminate another house guest. The last house guest remaining becomes the new head of household. And Annalise wins the HOH. And at the nomination ceremony, Steve, Brittany, Kat, Cliff, Kian, Danielle, Nelson, and Matt are safe. Annalise nominates Justina and JC. America wanted Justina to get JC nominated. Justina's mission was a success. Alright, so Annalise, Justina, and JC will compete. And Cliff, Matt, and Nelson are selected to compete. Vincent Van Vito. The house guests enter the living room, which is decorated as an art gallery. Each round, an image appears on the screen. The house guests must buzz in and guess what Big Brother phrase the picture is referring to. If they are correct, they earn a certain dollar amount. If not, they are eliminated. The house guest with the most money at the end, or the last one remaining, wins the golden power of veto. And Annalise wins the power of veto. So Justina and JC state why they should be saved. Annalise uses the power of veto on JC and names his partner Kian as a replacement. So now the final nominees are Justina and Kian. Alright, Justina and Kian face eviction, and by a vote of 5-3, Kian, you are evicted from the Big Brother house. So now Kian is out. It's funny, you know, you save the boy and nominate his other boy. You know. So now we are at the final 10 with Annalise, Brittany, Cliff, Danielle, JC, Justina, Kat, Matt, Nelson, and Steve. Time's up. The house guests hang on swinging pendulums. If they fall, they are eliminated. The last house guest remaining becomes the new head of household. Justina wins the head of household. At the nominations, Justina begins the nomination ceremony with Danielle, Annalise, and Brittany being safe, Cliff, Nelson, and Kat being safe, and Steve being safe, meaning that she has nominated JC and Matt. America controlled Justina's nomination, so she's nominating them again. And her mission was a success. Justina, JC, and Matt will compete, and Annalise, Danielle, and Nelson are chosen to compete. I apologize if I keep messing up words and stuff. That's what I seem like I'm doing this video. I'm so sorry. Numbers don't lie. Each round, the house guests are offered a punishment or a reward. For each, they must respond with a certain number. If it is a reward, the highest number is eliminated. If it is a punishment, the lowest number is eliminated. The last house guest remaining wins the golden power of veto. Nelson wins the power of veto. JC and Matt say why they should be saved. Nelson doesn't use the power, so JC and Matt are the final nominees. JC and Matt face eviction, and by a vote of 5-2, Matt, you are evicted from the Big Brother house. America wanted Justina to get JC out. Justina's mission was a failure. The other Amazing Race player, Matt Ladley, who made it to the Final Four his season, fortunately gets cut pretty early. Oh, and he is out. So now we proceed with the final 9. Let's make a duel. The house guests enter the backyard to see 2 podiums with buzzers on them at the front of a large wrestling ring. Each round, Julie Chen asks a question. 2 house guests will face off at a time. The winning one will move on and must choose the next 2 to face off, while the losing one is eliminated. The last house guest remaining becomes the new head of household, and Annalise wins it. Annalise begins the nomination ceremony. Steve, Kat, and Brittany are all safe. Cliff, Nelson, and Danielle are all safe, which means Annalise nominates Justina and JC. America wanted Justina to get Cliff nominated, and her mission was a failure. Annalise, Justina, and JC as nominees will compete. Nelson, Cliff, and Brittany are all selected to compete. Hard act to swallow. Outcasts individually enter the backyard. They must consume as many shots as they can within the time limit. For each shot they consume, they earn 1 shot in an oversized version of croquet. Each shot can earn them a certain amount of points. The house guest with the highest score wins the golden power veto. JC wins the power veto. Justina and JC state why they should be saved. JC uses the power on himself, and Annalise names Cliff as the replacement. And the final nominees are Justina and Cliff. Justina successfully got Cliff on the block. Justina's original field mission is now a success. And now to the eviction. Justina and Cliff face eviction, and by a vote of 5-1, Cliff, you have been evicted from the Big Brother house. Cliff is gone. The old man has sunk the tank. But Steve is still here. Let's go. Steve is still here. Let's continue. Strange visitors. The house guests each stand in their individual booths. Each round they are asked a question about various characters that have paid them a visit. JC wins the head of household. JC begins the nomination ceremony. Brittany, Steve, Nelson, Justina, and Kat are safe. JC nominates Annalise and Danielle. America wanted Justina to get Danielle nominated. Justina's mission was a success. Alright, Annalise, Danielle, and JC will be playing, while Justina, Brittany, and Kat were selected to compete as well. Big Brother Speedway. The house guests each sit on a motorcycle. Each round, they are given a question to which they must guess the percentage of viewers that responded a certain way. The house guest that guesses a percentage furthest away from the correct answer is eliminated. The last house guest remaining wins the golden power veto. JC wins the power veto. Annalise and Danielle state why they should be saved. JC used the power veto on Annalise. JC names Justina as the replacement. Alright, well, Justina, I'm surprised that you weren't up there in the first one. So this might be a backdoor blindside. The final nominees are Justina and Danielle. Justina and Danielle face eviction, and by a vote of 3-2, Danielle, you have been evicted from the Big Brother house. And Danielle is now gone too. So now we only have 7 players left. Let's go. Tanks for the memories. The house guests each sit in their individual dunk tanks. Each round they will be asked a question based on responses given by the pre-jury evictees. An incorrect answer results in eliminated and a dunk. Courtesy of the last evictee. The last house guest remaining becomes the new head of household. Nelson wins the HOH. Nelson begins the nomination ceremony. Kat, Justina, Brittany, and Annalise are safe, which means Steve and JC have been nominated. America wanted Justina to get JC nominated, and her mission was a success. Nelson, Steve, and JC will compete, as well as Justina, Kat, and Annalise. Cat scratch veto. The house guests each stand before the eyes of a cat. Each round, he will give a word phrase related to Big Brother. The house guest must search the backyard for a rat with a clue on it that pertains to the word or phrase. The last house guest to return each round is eliminated. The last house guest remaining wins the golden power of veto, and Annalise wins the power of veto. Steve and JC state why they should be saved. Annalise does not use the power of veto, which means the final nominees are Steve and JC. And Steve and JC face eviction. The vote is 2-2. So Nelson makes his speech that evicts Steve. Steve, you are evicted from the Big Brother house. America wanted Justina to get JC out, and her mission was a failure. Damn. So look at it. Now my boy Steve is gone. So now we do have, 2 players from Big Brother, 2 YouTubers, and then 2 players from the challenge. Justina was on Chance vs. Pros, Chance vs. Stars, whatever you want to call it. So I still consider that, part of the challenge. Anyway, let's continue. Big Brother Tea Party. The house guests stand in their individual lanes. They must run back and forth, transporting tea from one bowl to another. First house guest to fill their bowl and retrieve a ping pong ball from inside of it becomes the new head of household. Annalise wins the HOH. Annalise begins the nomination ceremony saving Kat, Brittany, and Nelson. And Annalise has nominated Justina and JC. America wanted Justina to get JC nominated, and her mission was a success. That's kind of repetitive at this point. There's only 6 players left, so pretty much everyone gets to play the power of veto. Janelle Vision. One at a time, the house guests will be spun on a pink chair, after which they must identify the 2 house guest faces that are combined on a screen. The house guest who gets the most correct in 4 minutes wins the golden power veto. Brittany wins the power veto. Justina and JC state why they should be saved. Brittany uses the power veto on JC. Annalise names Kat as the replacement, so Justina and Kat are the final nominees. I already wasn't liking this, but Justina and Kat face eviction, and by a vote of 2-1, Kat, you are evicted from the Big Brother house. And Kat is gone. They conspired against her, and now she is gone. Kat is the next person to leave. Before or after, the house guests stand in between steps, each labeled with the word before or after. Each round, the house guests must decide if one event read by Julie Chen happened before or after a second event. They are incorrect, they are eliminated. Last house guest standing wins the golden power veto, and Jason... Well, why did I say Jason? I meant JC, but also that's not power of veto, so that's messed up. Wins the head of household. So, JC nominates Justina and Annalise. America wanted Justina to get Nelson nominated. Justina's mission was a failure. Everyone can play. Alright, Niagara balls. The house guests must collect 7 green ping pong balls from the hundreds of balls that rain down on them and put them inside their individual tubes. The first house guest to do so wins the golden power veto, and Justina wins the power of veto. Justina and Annalise state why they should be saved. Justina uses the power on herself, and Nelson is the replacement. The final nominees are Nelson and Annalise. America controlled Justina's veto decision. Justina's mission was a success. Justina successfully got Nelson on the block. Justina's original failed mission is now a success. Alright, Nelson and Annalise face eviction. It's a 1-1 tie. So JC makes a speech and evicts Annalise. Annalise, you will have been evicted from the Big Brother house. And she's gone. America wanted Justina to get Nelson out. Justina's mission was a failure. So now we're at the final 4. I don't even think Brittany was on the block once. So it's pretty cool. Picture this. The house guests each stand in their individual sections. Each round they will be asked a question about one of the pictures that was on the memory wall. They earn a point for each correct answer. The house guest with the most points in the end becomes the new head of household. And Brittany wins the head of household. So she's not becoming nominee this week either. Brittany begins the nomination ceremony with Justina being safe, so JC and Nelson are nominated. And America wanted Justina to get JC nominated. It was successful. Everyone gets to play. Alright, Big Brother Decoder. The house guest must use a large wheel with the evicted house guest's face on it to crack a code based on various clues. They will read the clue and spin the wheel, so one arrow faces the picture of the correct house guest. This will give them a certain number. The first house guest to crack the code by finding the correct series of numbers wins the final golden power of veto. Justina wins that power of veto. JC and Nelson state why they should be saved. Justina doesn't use it. The final nominees are JC and Nelson. JC and Nelson face eviction, and by a vote of 1-0, JC, you are evicted from the Big Brother house. America wanted Justina to get JC out, and that mission was a success. So now, Brittany has won this entire season without being nominated once. I believe. As long as memory serves correct, she hasn't been nominated a single time. And even if she gets put on the chair this last one, she would still play as a successful game as Derek if she wins the finale. Or, if she wins the third part of the HOH and wins the finale, she'll play as a successful game as Cody. But we'll see. The HOH competition, the bunny hop. The final 3 house guests stand atop pedestals while holding keys. They must jump over a pole with a bunny attached to it as it swings under them. If they stop the pole, fall off, or let go of their key, they are eliminated. Last house guest standing wins part of the final HOH competition and will advance to part 3. Nelson wins the first part of the final HOH competition. Alright, chain of command. The 2 losers of part 1 individually enter the backyard. They must jump into a tank of water where they must complete a puzzle that will create a path to each of the past head households She has a past head household. The house guest to complete the puzzle in the fastest time will win part 2 of the final HOH competition and advance to part 3. Brittany wins the second part of the final HOH competition. Jury statements. The house guests each sit in their individual booths in the living room. Each round, Julie Chen will read the beginning of a statement. The house guests must decide how a certain juror completed each statement. If they are correct, they earn a point. House guest with the most points at the end becomes the final and most important head of household. Nelson and Brittany compete for final HOH, and Brittany wins the final HOH competition. Justina and Nelson face eviction, and by a vote of 1-0, Brittany makes her little speech. Blah blah. Nelson is the final house guest evicted from the Big Brother house. So now we're potentially looking at a possibility that this game, if Brittany wins, she'll be winning the way Cody pretty much won. Not being nominated, no votes against her, and actually, no, she would have to get every single vote as well to win the game if she gets up to Cody status. If she doesn't, she'll definitely be above Derek. The final two, Brittany and Justina, give their opening statements to the jury. The jury asks finalists questions before they vote for the answer. The jury consists of Cliff, Danielle, Steve, Kat, Annalise, JC, and Nelson. Brittany and Justina are waiting for the winner reveal, and by a vote of 5-2, Brittany wins Big Brother 8. So she's above Derek, but just below Cody, because it wasn't a unanimous vote. So Justina was America's player. She completed 14 of 26 tasks, and she wins $20,000, above her second place winnings. Cliff is voted by America as their favorite juror. And that's it. Congratulations, Brittany. You've won Big Brother 8. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Not many videos for Brand Steel are going to be made after May. Actually, probably no more at all. So all the ones that you see this month are pretty much kind of like the last ones. Unless there's a huge demand for it, then I'll bring it back. But until then, I'm going to stick to the content that I really like to do, which is a lot of gaming, maybe some reactions. Other stuff later on in the year I'm going to announce that are probably not going to come back either. But you'll always be able to watch them on this channel. I appreciate you guys for sticking with me. Anyway, peace out.